KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
As an 18-year-old freshly, I was really excited to participate in this election, especially since it's a presidential election.
Right now at noon, we hear from a WSU student who hopes her first voting experience doesn't happen to anyone else.
And this morning's fog has burned off, so it actually looks pretty nice today, but we are tracking rain by tonight and for Halloween Day.
And it's a rare event that when we do this.
Flood watch after a crane tipped over and hit the Post Falls Dam while the Weather Service issued the alert. Hi there, everyone. It is so good to see you. Welcome to KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Brandon T. Jones in for Laura Papetti. And as we get underway, we do want to go ahead and check in with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, this is one of my favorite parts of the day because I start my day outside and it was cold. It was extremely foggy. But what do we have in store for this afternoon?
Brandon, I was watching your live shots all morning long, and those were some of the most foggy live shots we've seen in quite some time, wasn't it, my friend?
Oh, for sure.
And today, well, good to report that, well, all that fog has burned off. It was really bad in this actually camera shot because the pavilion is only, what, a couple hundred feet in the foreground there. We couldn't even see that through most of this morning, but all of that is long gone. We actually got a pretty nice day out ahead of us as our current temperatures are at least in the mid-40s, which is almost 10 degrees warmer than it was at this point yesterday, just because that fog was able to get kicked out of the region. So our temperatures have warmed up into the 40s, and there's even a few 50s. I'm just trying to use my peripheral vision. I saw 56 in Walla Walla, otherwise 40s everywhere else up to this point, 46 as well in Coeur d'Alene. But what we're tracking for tonight is this cold front. It's already pushing into western Washington. Look at all the widespread rain that's on the west side. It's just a matter of how much of that is going to cross the Cascades and get into the inland northwest. Looks like there's already some very light radar returns pushing into Grant County, Moses Lake, Soap Lake, and possibly even into Omak. So this is going to advance eastward through the rest of the day. And coming up, we're going to go hour by hour and show you when that rain is set to arrive in Spokane and what day parts the rain is most likely for Halloween. So we have that complete Halloween and trick-or-treat forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
And KREM 2 News is committed to bringing you more to every story this election season. It's why we're bringing you 2 hours of election coverage tonight. You can't get that anywhere else. So join us starting at 6 p.m. for the KREM 2 News Elections Guide special hosted by Mark Hanrahan and Whitney Ward. In this special, we'll take a deep dive into what's on your ballot, including the candidates, initiatives, and measures. Right after that special, stay with Mark and Whitney as they moderate the 5th District Congressional Debate. Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner will answer any questions impacting voters in the Eastern Washington area. Our hour-long commercial-free debate starts at 7 p.m. And both of these election coverage specials can be seen on KREM 2, KSKN 22, and the KREM 2 Plus app. You can download KREM 2 Plus for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And as Election Day approaches, overnight, the Whitman County Auditor reported they are missing ballots. One of the county's ballots were processed out of the post office's main plant in Spokane earlier this month. Some of those ballots never made it to registered voters. USPS is now working to track them down, and if you have not yet received a ballot, Whitman County is asking you to call the number on the bottom of your screen right there, and they'll get one to you. Meanwhile, this afternoon, election officials in Clark County are still trying to preserve damaged ballots that were set on fire. Earlier this week, 475 ballots were damaged after someone set fire to a drop box in the Vancouver area. The New York Times reported yesterday that investigators found pro-Palestinian messages on the devices used to burn the boxes, but the newspaper said investigators are still trying to determine if the suspect was actually pro-Palestinian activist or someone trying to misdirect police. Many of the voters whose ballots were burned filled out replacement ballots in person. Clark County has since replaced the burned ballot box and has hired contract workers to watch all 22 drop box locations through Election Day. Today, we are hearing from a Washington State University student who says her ballot was burned in one of those fires. Our CBS station in Portland spoke with a teen who says she's undeterred.
Yeah, as an 18-year-old freshly, I was really excited to participate in this election, especially since it's a presidential election.
Maggie Lind is a student at Washington State University and a Camas, Washington native. She recently filled out her first ballot while at school, then made the trek home to drop it off in Vancouver.
Oh, I thought I really lucked out.
But her first voting experience took a turn Monday morning.
And all of a sudden, the family group chat is blowing up talking about the ballot box burning. And he goes, "Sorry, Maggie, I think that was your ballot."
Maggie says her ballot was among the ones burned at 3 voting drop boxes in Vancouver and Portland.
Has something like this ever happened before?
No, this is unprecedented.
Clark County Auditor Greg Kimsey says his office is busy getting new ballots into the hands of the voters affected by the arsons. On top of that, his team at the Elections Office and the Clark County Sheriff's Office will ramp up security at ballot drop sites across the city.
We'll have one person in each ballot box 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, simply to observe what's going on. If they observe something suspicious, they'll be instructed to call 911. They're not there to interact with citizens or to be confrontational in any way whatsoever.
For voters like Maggie, she says she won't let burned ballots stop her from using her voice in this election.
It's really easy to get stuck in that mindset of, oh, one vote won't change anything. But obviously, if everyone thought that way, there wouldn't be voting at all. So just try not to think like that. Don't let other people control your vote.
Ahead of Election Day, both presidential candidates are trying to gain support from last-minute voters. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is in the battleground states of Wisconsin and North Carolina. Last night, she delivered what her campaign called her closing argument in front of tens of thousands of supporters near the White House. It's the same exact spot where former President Donald Trump rallied his supporters on January 6, 2021, before a group attacked the U.S. Capitol building. The Harris campaign says it picked the location to highlight the contrast between the candidates. Meanwhile, Trump will hit the same states today as he continues to try to distance himself from the comments made by a comedian at his rally on Sunday. Yesterday, he called the event a love fest and later stated he loves the Latino community. For more information on the general election, go ahead and text us the word elections to our number 509-448-2000. We'll send a link right to your phone with all the information you need to know.
Given this time of the year, there's not much water in the rivers right now, but still any sudden release of water could be hazardous.
And still ahead, a crane failure at the Post Falls Dam. In the next 2 minutes on KREM 2 News at noon, more to the story on why officials issued a flash flood watch for the region.